Today, we will work on a free trading course. We will use our best indicator called ICT High Time Frame Indicator, and I will show you how to spot great entry locations in matter of minutes. We will cover 15 different trade examples and learn everything you need to be a better scalper and day trader. If you're ready, let's do this. You woke up today and markets are crushed again. All thanks to President Donald Trump and his uncertain politics and policies. In this uncertain environment, trading can be kind of confusing, but we will keep doing what we do best, follow the trend and trade the strong or weak assets. This lovely coin was in the top losers list this morning and it was suitable to trade. The moment I saw this multi-imbalance area, I knew that this could be a great location to look for short trades. But again, we shall not blindly short it. Yes, it is a usable strategy, but since the Trump in the White House, blind trades are not good at all. We must try to combine high and low time frames as much as possible. Let's go down into lower time frames and talk more about these yellow circle locations. So in this 2-minute chart, you can see that this yellow circle point is representing our multi-time frame imbalance location. Basically, our main overall area to look for trades. Also, if you look at the overall trend, you can easily see that we are in a very strong downtrend. Price is just keep pushing downwards. So no need to fight the ocean and waves here. Instead, we will flow with the market. Let's zoom in the trade area and talk more now. Let's have a brainstorm here. First, where can the price move? Notice these lovely equal lows right below that waiting for us. This is our initial target. What else do we have here? Very nice support and resistance flip right at our multi-level imbalance area. Furthermore, if you use your Fibonacci tool to this strong break, there are things like optimal trade entry location with the inner 2-minute imbalance. All great for now. We found a very nice location for entry. What happens next? You can see this inner structure break, which price breaks and instantly pullbacks to this inner 2-minute imbalance. This was a nice entry location for a 2-hour setup here. But you can call this is a very fast action. Now your second option is waiting for the next break of structure and inner pullback. Like this one here. This will give you another set of small trade. Not an amazing trade, but better than nothing. Now, if you just zoom out, this is also a very special location of PDL and Monday low. Basically, masterclass amplifier locations, as you can see, which makes the trade area more trustable in my opinion. Not bad at all. After all the manipulative and corrupted market moves, things are getting back to normal today. The moment you opened the charts today, this coin BCH was dominating the top gainers. The early rally started way back then with our classic trade setup of multi-imbalance taps. Of course, how did you find this? By using this lovely indicator, the ICT high time frame candles. I think it is probably the best trading view indicator that I ever used to spot entry locations. Later on, a very similar opportunity came back. However, this time it was just accumulated way too much before the final move. So this is what we're gonna do today. Observe this specific area in detail and talk how can we make entries. Okay, within this 5-minute chart, this is the specific point the second rally started. Before we talk about the entry, I want to talk about where is the price heading. As you can see, there are very clear equal highs here as our initial target. But it is also the Monday high as well, an institutional level. We will also see soon about the daily imbalance. Now let's zoom in the area and talk about how can we place orders. Let's do something different. Let's draw our Fibonacci for the two rallies and get ideas. In the early rally, you can see that price drops to the EQ point of Fibonacci and touches this imbalance, then starts its mega rally. But in my opinion, it is really hard and troublesome to point out the exact moment of rally. So this is the question, what shall we do here? How to approach these problems from a trader perspective? In the second rally, you can see that price pulling back to this nice imbalance with inner support and resistance flip area. Now in my opinion and experience, this is a great location to make an entry. Actually, your first set of entries. Then, if you look at below, you can notice this price level of previous week high. What is this? A masterclass amplifier location combined with inner imbalance. A superior location to place your second order. So as your last order, this optimal trade entry with deep imbalance is a great choice. This is how you strategically set your orders and not looking for a single super trade location. Instead, we divide our orders. I think this clarifies a lot of things for you. Now let's get back to the daily chart and see the reasons why this coin rallied. In this daily chart, everything started with this very brief sweep of liquidity, which ignited these mega movements in this coin. Then the bulls took the main control, pushing the coin to fill this daily imbalance. It is strongly being pushed upwards. As you can see, price action is a very collective chart language that combines multiple time frames. You cannot just open a single time frame like 5 minutes and say I'm gonna trade only 5 minutes. It doesn't work that way. As a natural long trader in the recent years who tries to avoid taking shorts, there are days that you cannot just ignore. After the massive pump with the Trump yesterday, it is very natural to see strong drops today. When you look at the markets, you will notice it is massively red today, making some sort of correction. So, this XVS coin was an interesting choice. We will also talk about how we find it at all. In this weekly chart, this massive bullish imbalance is really interesting to talk about. Naturally, you should expect buyers to push this coin upwards. But there's no power in this coin, the weakness in the market pushing the coin down today. So, you need to ask this. Are we trying to fully fill this weekly imbalance first? This is a strong perspective to hold in your mind at the moment. But more importantly, why this coin? Why this XVS? In this 1 hour chart, you can see this 20% drop made this coin one of the top losers of the day. If you sorted your list, it should be easy to see it. It was hovering in the top 5 losers all day long. But this drop already happened. It does not help us to trade. So we are looking for the secondary crash. And this is where your momentum layout comes into play, identifying the possible entry location. After the 20% drop, this coin became the top loser coin. This is how you find this coin. Then it pulled back into this multi-imbalance area, giving us a possible short trade to look for. If you open the 15-minute time frame on the left, as you can see, you will notice that 15-minute vision of the same point, where the price hit these multi-level imbalances. However, there is another confluence that makes this trade more appealing. Look at this SR flip area here. Price used the area as 4 times. It rejected. Then the exact area flipped, became a resistance location. This is a very classic smart money trick. Okay, now let's go down for the 5-minute time frame and talk about the entries. Before we go on, there is also this PDL amplifier point from the masterclass, which makes this area extra special for us. So what happens here? A weak break, then a small pullback into optimal trade entry location. Unfortunately, there is no particular inner imbalance to take a trade here, only the OTE area and price cheapness to short it. Now, this could be a way of building a 2-hour setup here. I know that some of you may feel overwhelmed by this setup. So it requires so much time and effort, and I agree with you. Okay, now let's discuss it further for optional entries. I assume that most people cannot do all of this. Too many steps to process. What other options do you have? First of all, let's zoom out a bit. Now, what do we know at this point? We know that this is a price location that, for imbalance steps, a support and resistance flip area, and the previous day's low as an amplifier. I guess that these are easy to spot as an overall entry location. Now, I am drawing a large Fibonacci here to our 20% mega drop here. And you know that price can easily, very easily pull back further and further and then fall, because none of us knows the future. And I assume that you are afraid of using RR-based trades, or you may think that it takes too much time to wait for the good setup. Then your only option is using a different kind of cost averaging techniques, such as YOYO from Masterclass. Unfortunately, there is no alternative way of trading. Basically, what you do here, divide your order into 3 pieces and make 3 strategic entries to cover further pullbacks. This is it. In the trading world, you will either use RR-based setups, waiting for the precise entry locations, or you use cost average order dividing without any precision. Again, unfortunately, there is no third option. I'm sorry about it. First of all, let's take a look at the price action in this coin. Please just ignore the coin name. The only thing we care about is the price action. This could be Nasdaq, this could be gold, this could be Bitcoin. Price action is universal. As you can see, this was a bearish price action here. By taking new lows, sellers were in control here. With this imbalance area, the expected move was downwards, the logical continuation of the trend. But the imbalance strongly failed, as you can see. So buyers started to fight back. They were trying to push the price to this daily imbalance as a target. So this move here made this coin the top gainer recently. So how did we find this coin? Because it was the top gainer. Simple as that. So when we look at our momentum layout, price was rallying like a monster. And at some point it just slowed down. Thanks to our indicator called ICD high time frames, we were able to spot the tradable location here. Right here at multi-level imbalance steps. Now, if you open the regular price within 5 minutes and compare with our indicator, you will notice where the price started to secondary rally. Okay, let's deep dive into smaller time frames and start to talk about entries. What you see here is the most classic price action that you can ever witness. A very simple structure breaks with an imbalance, and then price pulls back into this small balanced price range with the optimal trade entry location. So this gave you a wonderful entry opportunity here. This was almost a 2-hour setup to use, depends on the moment of your entry. Okay, but what really happened here? In the daily chart, sellers were pushing the price like crazy. until buyers stepped in and decided to fight back. So this movement made the coin the top gainer coin and created this multi-level inner imbalance area. At the same time, price was being pushed into this daily imbalance as a target, creating simple trade opportunities. Now, I want to show you something. What you see here is our daily chart again. Remember, this is the daily chart. I want you to notice and remember this large imbalance. Keep it in your mind. Okay, we are back to our 2-minute time frame this time. Notice how the price rallies and then crashes. So basically, price fills the daily imbalance to almost perfect tick and then strongly crashes. This is why we have to keep an eye on the daily and weekly imbalances as well. These are very important price levels. With this GLM coin, when you look at this daily chart, there are a couple of significant price actions that we need to talk about. First of all, this specific swing failure pattern and internal liquidity sweep, all this parabolic liquidity. Now, if we just get closer, notice the daily market structure break right here. Then the price pull back into this daily balance price range area. All this signifies very bullish price action. Bulls is in general control here. Also notice this very lovely inner support and resistance flip, which is combined with the BPR location. So overall, now we know that GLM looks like bullish from the price action standpoint. Sunday, GLM became the number one top gainer coin by far. It happened by this movement here. Now we do not care how or why it happened. It is not our concern. We know that daily price action is bullish. Also this coin became number one top gainer. So we only care about how we can trade this right now. After this gigantic movement and becoming the number one top gainer coin, GLM slowly start to pull back into this area of 4 imbalance points. This is what we care about, a tradable area for us. Now, if you open the 5-minute time frame width on the left and momentum layout on the right together, there are some interesting price actions to talk about. This green point signifies the area of 4 imbalance taps. After the first rally happened, just price pulled back into this area. But at the same time, just check it out. What is this? A magnificent support and resistance flip location. What a coincidence. Now we have a perfectly tradable location here. Let's go down in lower time frames on this specific location and talk further. In this 1-minute chart, we know that this is the area that we will be seeking entries. First interesting thing is this equal highs above as our natural target. So this is a reason for the price to go up. The price also hits this inner 1-minute imbalance after clearing all the inner liquidity inside. Plus, what we have here? Another small SR flip location in the 1-minute chart. So we have so many confluences to look for a trade right here at this point. Now the rest of the movement is simple price action with market structure breaks and break of structures and seeking these 2R or maybe 3R compact setups. No need to go over extreme detail here because I'm sure that you know it all really well. So let's talk about what really happened here. Let's make a summary. You find yourself a top gainer coin. This is the first step. The top gainer coin pulled back into this lovely multi-imbalance point. This is the second step. This multi-imbalance point is also a very significant SR flip area as well. This is the third, probably an optional step. Interestingly, there is also an inner small imbalance with inner SR flip location as well. Rest of the trade is just following the market structure breaks and taking the trades. Nothing overly complicated as you can see. A highly repetitive pattern. The moment that you checked out charts today, you will notice the weakness in the market. Totals and major coins are rather on the weak side, while USDT is trying to be dominant. It is actually a nice day to look for short-based trades. And this Edu coin was a nice top loser. It was crushing all morning. 2-hour charts are generally great charts to see dominant movement. As you can see, the red candles one after another falling like crazy. And this nice multi-level imbalance area is actually a great spot to look for short trades. As you know, this is our classic momentum masterclass strategy. For further analysis, I opened the 5-minute chart on the left so we can see the price action much better. First, you will notice that this is not an ordinary level. It is a PDL area, previous day low amplifier. Amplifiers are actually sort of support and resistance flips in a sense. This is why it amplifies your entries. Now let's zoom in the area. Before anything else, what do you notice here? Price is keep breaking down, making new breaks downwards. So this trend is an obvious downtrend. When you draw a Fibonacci, you will also notice that price pulls back deep into the OTE area with an inner imbalance. So at this point, what do we know? 1. Today is a weekday. 2. This coin is a top loser coin. 3. We found 3 multi-level imbalance taps. 4. We also know that this coin is in a strong downtrend. Finally, we know that price are in the optimal entry area with inner imbalance, and all of this supported with a masterclass level amplifier. So what is next? Looking for entries. Now we are in the 3-minute time frame so you can see every price action in clear sense. I'm always having this question. There is a market structure break but no pullback. What shall I do? As you can see right here, we have a clear market structure break. But obviously, price is not pulling back. It is a straight fall right after the break. We waited for this trade whole day but never made the entry. This could have been a really amazing 4-hour trade actually, if only price pulled back. So, do we have a solution here? Yes, there is. But first you must accept that markets are not your friend. Market does not owe you anything. Market may never pull back. So the alternative solution we can have is dividing your orders. I actually talked about this in the masterclass while I was teaching you 5 different yo-yo styles. So what you do is actually rather simple. You divide your orders into at least 2 pieces. For example, instead of risking 1 full hour in a 1 trade, you may risk 0.5 hours in 2 trades. For example, your first entry should be right after the market structure break without waiting for any pullback. This way, there is no chance of missing the trade. You will be 100% in a trade. Then optionally, you can place the rest 0.5 hour risk order into a possible pullback position as limit order for the future. Here you go. This is your alternative way of trading. So, how to recap alternative trading one more time? What can we do after market structure breaks? Let's talk about possibilities again. Sometimes the price quickly pulls back after the break. Then this is your very classic pullback entry. We already know this a lot. Your alternative is dividing your orders into pieces in this example, making multiple entries instead of waiting for the pullback. I hope that this clears out all your questions. Today was a significantly weak day. I'm sure you have noticed as well by looking at the totals and major pairs, you can see the blood red daily changes. Almost 2% drop in all asset classes, while USDT dominance was fighting to move upwards. So, In a weak markets, it is best to focus on weaker assets like top losers, like this coin here, VIDT. You can easily the significant crashing movement in the 2 hour chart. Red candles one after another with large momentum imbalances. Sellers are obviously dominant here. Again, by using our best indicator called ICT high time frame candles, I was able to see multi-level price action here in a single layout here. At some point, price tries to make a decent pullback into this multi-level imbalance zone right here, which gives you a clear trading zone. And if you just look above, you can also notice that the exact same price action pattern is happening one more time. This is a very repetitive pattern found in rallying or crushing assets, and it can be used in Forex, indices, and crypto as well. Now, let's drop to the lower time frames to talk further. In this layout on the left, you can see the 2 minutes time frame. On the right, you can see the 2 hours time frame. Same asset, same price action. This is also where the multi-level imbalance tapping happens. But before that, we will focus on the price action first, both in the same areas. Do you notice how the price keeps crashing with most new breakout structures downwards? When an asset crashes like this, you need to just crash with it as much as you can. Do not fight it. This is the core of momentum scalping actually, using the market power or weakness to your advantage. Now let's get back to our entry area with multi-level imbalances. Price keep crashing and pullbacks into this perfect EQ area this time, which also happens to be a nice SR Philip location. Now, this price can go up higher and higher here, pull back deeper. We have no idea actually. But if you carefully look at it, you can see the small inner structure shift right here with an imbalance. This is your great signal for a nice 2-hour setup. Basically, all we do here is on a weak market day, while everything else crashes, we just find a weak asset to short. That's it. Okay, what we have learned today. If the market is weak and most of assets crashes, do not fight it. Crash with it. Keep shorting the markets. Generally, you'll notice that market starts to range and accumulate orders, because generally no asset crashes or rallies forever. Then the market may reverse. Who knows? And a rally starts. Then if the market rallies, stop looking for shorts and then start looking for long trades. Follow the power and follow the structure. When you woke up to this nice Monday in the new fresh week, you should have immediately noticed this lovely strong day. Totals and major coins were strongly green, and USD dominance was rather weak as you can see. So, this indicates that trading upward rallies are more beneficial compared to crashes. So I specially selected this BSW coin, one of the top gainers. It had interesting price action to watch. The daily time frame was especially educational. As you can see, price sweeps the monthly low. Since then, buyers tried to dominate the sellers. They were pushing the coin upwards and upwards in a way they were trying to fill the daily imbalance upwards, as you can see. Now in our momentum layout, you may ask this question, why this coin? To be honest, nothing special at all. The only reason I detected this coin was it was in the top gainers and had a nice daily imbalance to be filled. Very simple couple of clues. In this 2-hour time frame on the right, notice this area of MASTERCLASS price switch, right before the rally. And right after that, a powerful rally started until the price filled the daily imbalance. So, what I want to do is discuss how to join dominant rallies today and how to jump ourselves into these bullet trains on the go. Let's open a lower time frame together and talk further. In this 5-minute chart combined with multi-time frames, you can see the dominant rally together. Basically, what I'm interested in here is the breaks and then pullbacks until we fill the daily imbalance. Because after each break, we may have some sort of chance to enter trades. You can see in close action, in very early stages of the rally, actually there is no valid or significant entry chances. Price breaks, but never pullbacks. But later, this changes. After each significant breaks, we are having a decent pullback to enter trades. Now let's zoom in the area further. As you can see, after each break, price decently pullbacks into discount zones or imbalance areas or sometimes the optimal trade zones. I think it is impossible to catch 3 trades. But if you are watching the price action, I think it was possible to catch at least one solid trade here. So let me do a decent recap for you. 1. We knew that this was a strong day and we are looking for long trades. 2. We know that best long trades come with rallying top gainers. 3. Furthermore, we also saw the daily imbalance as a target in this specific coin. And lastly, we joined the dominant rally with simple smart money structures. As you can see, trading is actually not overly complicated business, but rather waiting and patience. I think waiting for a good setup can take sometimes hours. This is the number one problem for the most traders, waiting and being patient. Because most traders just want to open the charts and trade like crazy every single minute. But in the most cases, it is not ideal. In the recent weeks, I started to test our momentum scalping strategy with our markets such as Forex, gold, and indices. What you see here is Euro USD. So the question is, can our momentum scalping strategy work with pairs like this? The answer is, it is a yes and no. If the asset is rallying, yes, it is a big yes. For example, Euro USD was heavily rallying in the recent days after the European Union announced an $800 billion military expansion. So what you see here, after a major rally, Euro paused and pulled back into this nice multi-level imbalance location. If you carefully check out the 30 minutes to 2 hours times, you can notice how the price deeply pulled back into this imbalance before the secondary rally. So what we do here is 100% same with our trading momentum coins. There's no difference at all. We will be observing this specific location. But I have to remind you something. The Forex pair that you are trading should be rallying or crashing. It is the same idea with top gainer coins and top losers coins. So in this 5-minute chart, if you turn on the key levels indicator as well, you will notice something interesting. 2 natural SR flip locations. But these are not ordinary support and resistance flip areas. They have an extreme importance. Let's zoom in the area and talk further. Basically, these SR flips are part of institutional levels. In my masterclass, I actually call them amplifiers. Why? Basically, they amplify the entry locations and boost our confidence about entries. Okay, remember this is the area where our multi-level imbalances tap, the location of where we seek entries. If you just check it out above, notice these lovely equal highs, which makes a great target. But also, we have this CY8 above. What is it? It is current year high. Another very interesting institutional target. Okay, up until this moment, what do we have? We have our SR flips, we have our amplifiers, and we have our targets. Now the rest is about making entries. If you look closely here, you can notice an internal structure shift. In my opinion, this is a valid entry to take. There's nothing wrong with this trade, but at the end, this trade fails. Later on, there is another internal shift, but this time it works, giving you a valid 2-hour setup. As you can see, there's no rule or certainty that every trade will work. In trading, there's no certainty at all. There's only risk management. But what if you have a bigger vision and those internal breaks are so small to be considered as market structure breaks? Then what? So, if we take this large movement as your MSP, then the story changes. There are two significant imbalances that you can make entries here. In this case, you have to have a very large setup like this one here. A giant stop loss, I know. But this is necessary to cover further pullbacks. And we will have fully target the equal highs above. As you can see, as long as asset rallies or crashes, it has not much difference than trading top gainer or loser coins. Momentum strategy is based on market power and it may work with all the assets as long as they have enough momentum power. On the weekend, we witnessed a rather weak market. Totals were crashing really badly, which was followed by major pairs like Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum. USDT dominance was strong. So in the days like this, it is best to check top losers rather than winners. This is why I tweeted about not USDT coin on my Twitter account. It was an interesting setup. By using our multi-time frame indicator called ICT high time frame candles, you can easily notice this extreme crash. Altcoins like this one generally crashes harder compared to major coins. This area of multi-imbalances with 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and 1 hour already caught my eye. This is how we spot areas to seek entries. Actually, our strategy is rather simple. So what we're gonna do is just open the lower time frames like the 5 minute here and observe the area for possible entries. And also we will discuss alternative way to trade this. So what happens here is actually a very classic price action. A strong crash followed by a slow pullback. Right at this point you can see the inner market structure break and the imbalance created. This is what you should seek in these tradable zones. But in this trade, we had this rather long accumulation which lasted almost a couple of hours actually. For a second, imagine that. You set this 5-hour crazy setup, which I normally do not support. Instead, finding 2 or 3 setups are more beneficial in my experience. Anyway, after very long hours of accumulation, I would definitely cut the 50% trade without ignoring the future. Remember, the longer you're in a trade, the more danger you are in. As a day trader or a scalper, you should rather quickly settle your trades. Let's also talk about other ways to trade this chart. A simple Fibonacci here can give you interesting ideas about how to handle the trade. There are 2 significant areas here. The 50% EQ point and the general optimal trade entry location as well. They also combine with inner imbalances when you carefully look on the left side. In this case, setting a 2-part yo-yo setup here could be really interesting because we do not know the future and how much the price could have been pulled back. As you can see, trading is not involving a single method. You can use multiple tactics like a chess player. I wanted to observe this lovely big time coin today. It is a great example of a win and a loss at the same time by using multiple strategies. As you can see here in this 1-hour chart, we have very significant institutional levels. Previous week high and the previous day high. When we zoom in the area, you can see it better. Both PWH and PDH are already hunted. Now we will discuss them using as amplifiers and support and resistance flip areas. So can we use them to trade? Let's check it out. But before I move on, we activate our ICT high time frame candles indicator. This indicator is the only reason that I have found out about this coin setup. Previously, I had no idea this coin even existed up until this morning. First of all, let me check out the previous week's high, zone, and the price level, which also collides with 30, and 45-minute imbalances at the same time. This is the location of our first trade idea. If we just look at the below level, you will notice that this time we have the previous daily high area as masterclass amplifier. But this time we have 4 imbalance tabs instead of 2. We have the 30 and 45 minutes, 1 and 2 hours at the same time. Furthermore, we have a very clear support and resistance flip location. So it is obvious that the secondary area is much more concept rich, and it will probably a stronger location to trade. Now, let me open the 1-minute time frame on the left side. It will help us to understand and discuss the price action on both price levels. Let me check the first location of the trade, previous weekly high price level. If you have taken a trade here with the market structure shift, probably a compact simple 2-hour setup. But as you can see, this could have been failed. A stopped out trade. Remember, this was the location of 30 and 45 minutes with the amplifier. And guess what? Nothing but nothing wrong here. A perfectly healthy trade with a loss. There's nothing we can do here. You have to take the loss and move on. How about the secondary location with the previous day high? Notice the structure shift right here. Once it taps the previous day's high as the amplifier. So at the same time, this is the support and resistance flip location. This is an area of successful 2-hour setup. What was the difference between these and the previous locations? It just had more smart money concepts. You should always remember this. More concepts coming together makes the trade much better, and it gives you a higher chance of winning probability. So, what are the rules of the trading game? Let's remember. 1. Every trade, every strategy, every method will fail. There is no exception. There is no holy grail. Accept this and move on. 2. You must wait for the results of 100 trades at least for better accuracy. One trade means nothing. Even if you have 10 losses in a row, still means nothing because you do not have enough data in your hand to compare your results. 3. And the last one. More concepts together makes the area stronger and better and increase the chance of success. If you notice order block, OTE, SR flip, imbalance, and maybe other things in a single price level, there is a higher probability, a better probability of winning the trade. I hope all this makes a lot of sense for you. As you already know, we are passing through extremely weak days in stock and crypto markets. The only thing that rallying is probably gold. Swing investors already know why I like gold so much. It is a crash protection insurance for me. So anyway, let's check out one of the top loser coins and beautiful price action for today. First, I'll talk about the price action, then I will give you the secret of finding great setups quickly. First of all, notice this specific previous week and day low points. It stays as our institutional targets, a location that price can easily hit. You can see that this asset is in general downtrend in couple of the recent days. What I'm interested in this specific location, because this is where the real price action happens for me. With our momentum indicator, you can see that price is strongly crashing with a lot of bearish imbalances heading towards the PDL and PWL. For a moment, price stops and pullbacks to our multi-level imbalance area. This is our POI zone. This is how we notice great entry zones. Now let's open lower time frames and talk further. So you already know that this is our multi-level imbalance zone. Now we can use the price action with smart money concepts. First obvious concept is our equal lows below, combined with PDL and PWL. Secondly, of course, my beloved support and resistance Philip location. Now let me zoom in the area. You can also notice the inner imbalance as well, right here. What happens here? Market structure, the inner structure shifts, and small inner pullback, and right after that, the crash to hunt our main targets. As you can see, this is a solid and high quality setup here. How I teach things in the masterclass. Now let's talk about the secrets of finding these setups the fastest way. First of all, I want you to forget all of the smart money concepts for a moment. Do not bother. I do not care for PDL, PWL, equal lows, imbalances, or anything else. Secondly, create a broad watch list of crypto futures, stocks if you want, Forex pairs maybe, gold, Nasdaq, or other indices. Collect them in the one single list. Third, with our ICT high time frame indicator, quickly scan them. Spot rallying or crashing assets. But more importantly, spot the multi-level imbalance zones. Just the way I teach it. This is the secret. Once you spot the multi-level areas, then you shall check out the market structure and targets and use all other smart money concepts. Targets like equal lows, equal highs, PDL, PWL, daily or weekly imbalances, or other concepts like SR Phillips, Fibonacci, optimal trade entries, and so on. All these come later as secondary steps. So the first thing you shall do, spot the POI area with our beloved indicator. The rest of the smart money comes later. I have specially chosen this lovely Nasdaq example to show our momentum strategy can work on all asset classes. As long as the asset rallies or crashes, this is the key part. Again, I'll be using our ICT high time frame candles indicator, basically our base trading view indicator. With this indicator, spotting tradable zones is much easier and quicker for us. When I was watching Nasdaq recently, I noticed this lovely multi-imbalance area. Since Donald Trump announced new 25% tariffs again for the EU and many other countries, US stocks started to struggle a lot. Long-time rally turned into a crash in the recent weeks. You can notice this 4 imbalance step area, 30 and 45 minutes, and 1 and 2 hours all the at time zone. This basically gives the tradable area idea. If you open the 1-minute chart on the left, you'll also notice the exact point of where this multi-level imbalance tab locates. Now, let's zoom into this 1-minute time frame and talk further for other smart money concepts and price action. First thing you can easily notice is the almost perfect support and resistance Philip location. Notice how many times price rejecting the same area. This easily tells you about there's so much resistance on this specific price level. If you also draw your Fibonacci, you'll also notice this is a perfect optimal trade entry location with the giant inner 1-minute imbalance. Do all of these remind of you something? This is one of the most essential price action patterns. Strong break after liquidity sweeps, and a pullback to a tradable imbalance area or optimal trade area. This is probably one of the easiest and the core setups I was teaching in the free trading course. Now the next question is how to trade this. Once you spot your tradable areas, the rest is actually a waiting game. You need to be patient, waiting for the price action to go in your favor. As you can see, I think the clearest move here is this market structure shift with imbalance right here. I always find price action more messy in Forex and indices compared to crypto. So this could have been a 2-hour great setup with enough large stop to cushion yourself. This is I always advocate. You need to cushion your stop losses. Now our deep target should be this below liquidity line. But notice how the price shakes a lot of people right before reaching the target. I saw this happen probably 1,000 times. Actually, this is why I encourage people to create more compact setups like 2R or similar. When you trade, your aim should be always to get in and out as soon as possible because markets are very cruel and hard to trade nowadays. When you build these gigantic setups like 5R, 10R, you will have to wait in open positions for a really long time. And these cruel markets can stop you out so easily. Well, the only way to avoid all this using masterclass yo-yo like cost average trades. This will reduce your stop losses and increase your win rates. However, cost average techniques have a big side effect. Your profits will be much lower compared to classic RR styling. As you can see, there is always an exchange in trading, and there is no holy grail at all. There is no perfect strategy, there is no perfect risk management, there's nothing perfect in trading actually. It is a hard business. It is obvious that we are in the really choppy market days. Markets rally for one day and keep crashing for the next day. This is mostly confusing for a lot of people. But rallies and crashes are actually great for momentum scalpers. As this example of Solana. Solana was in a multi-day rally for a while, since it dropped to the $120, but now pushing back to the $150 again. In this particular momentum-based scalping setup, after the quick rally, it was pulling back into this nice trade area. It consisted of 30 minute, 45 minutes, 1 and 2 hour imbalances at the same time. The moment you see this, you must set an alarm on this price level, because this could be the ignition point of the next rally coming up. It is also the 30-minute balance price range location. Remember, BPR is actually a more powerful version of regular imbalances. It actually makes the trade area stronger. Now let us observe this specific area in the lower time frames and talk further. Okay, now this is the point of the multi-level imbalance zone, a possible location of the next rally coming up. When you look at this carefully, this also looks like a triangle. Upside liquidity gathering, and downside liquidity is already swept. And the price is in our multi-level imbalance location. Now the question is, how to trade this? Actually, the rest is not very complicated. You can notice the clear market structure break here, and small pullback into the imbalance. This should give you around 2 hours setup here. But remember, after market structure breaks, price may not pull back. Sometimes it just flies away directly. Keep this in mind. Now we have more important matters to discuss here. First of all, let's zoom out a bit and see the big perspective in this trade. When you look at this, and if you have your institutional level indicator, you can clearly see price tries to hunt previous day high. If you have completed my masterclass, you will know that this is a A++ setup. I want to talk about this pattern in detail. What really happened? Let us discuss one more time. We know that we have a clear institutional level above the previous day high. First leg of this movement is generally a giant price drop, then followed by a long accumulation. Last stage is the rally. What matters for us is the rally stages. Because as we momentum traders, we want to trade rallies or crashes. This is why we look at top losers or gainers from all markets at once. In the rally, what I look for is multi-level imbalance taps. This is the important stage because this is how I find entry areas. As an extra step, If I see support and resistance flip, it would give me an extra confidence. The rest of the action is actually smart money scalping with simple price action entries. This is an A++ masterclass level setup for me. I have to admit, this beautiful setup may not happen every single day. But once it happens, once you see this exact setup, it has a high chance of working really well. By using our best indicator called ICT High Time Frames indicator, I will analyze the top winners coins today. I'll be working on 8 top gainers of this day, today, so you can get a clear idea what is really going on. As you know, after a period of weak days, finally today started as a strong day. Good powers on totals and major coins, giving us a chance to trade top gainers and looking for long trades. Also, seeing a weak USDT dominance is extra helpful for our trades. First of all, check this coin out. With our momentum indicator, you can see multi-time frame deep dive into 4 different imbalances. On the left, you can see the 3-minute chart, the exact level of how the price action performs. A quick market structure shift, but no pullback unfortunately. In our previous video, I showed you how to divide orders into pieces, and with half risk, you can jump to trade right after the break. This is a great example for that video. This is another coin example called DGen. In early hours, the first rally started. As you can see clearly, price tapped 3 different imbalances. If you look at the price action on the left, you will notice how the inner structure changes, followed by a break-off structure. This looks like a clear trade. Later on the day, a similar pattern emerged. But this time you can see that after the market structure break, there's no clear pullback. One more time, our strategy works great, but if you notice, it is not flawless. Sometimes it is hard to catch these trades. Let's move to another example. A mixed bag of win and losses, a coin called ACX. In this case, you can see our multi-level imbalance tap area clearly. Price taps 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and 1 hour time frame imbalances. On the left, in the lower time frame, it is a really interesting price action. First, market structure break works great with a small imbalance area, giving you a quick trade chance. But the second structure breaks, and then imbalance fails quickly, and it is a loss. This proves our general theory. None of the strategies are perfect. Whatever you do, it is practically impossible to avoid a loss. Now another interesting example from today. IMX coin. Price taps are multi-level imbalance area as you can notice clearly. But the problem with this trade, structure shift in the lower time frame happens way too late. It takes more than 1 hour for the clear structure shift, and also the price actually never pulled back as you can see. It just flies away after the break of structure. In my opinion, this trade was hard to catch. Another example here, a nice coin called Zeta. In early hours, the first rally started right here. As you can see with multi-level imbalance taps, if you look at the lower time frames, you can see the small structure shift followed by a break-off structure. A tradable area in my opinion. Later on in the day, the same pattern happens one more time, but this time it is a little bit more challenging. The price shift happens really quickly and price pulls back to the imbalance area. This is a solid entry location, but this would be a scary trade to hold in my opinion. Here is another example from today. BOME coin. Price rallies, then slows down and pulls back to the multi-level imbalance zone, creating us a tradable area. Same price action keeps happening at lower time frames if you carefully look at a powerful structure shift without great pullback. This is why I had to mention sometimes you may need to jump to trade with market break quickly, like in this example, because in some cases price just never pullbacks. Finally, a full loss, a losing trade from Mocha coin. A rallying coin slows down and pulls back into this multi-level imbalance zone. Check the low time frame price level. Very nice break with great small imbalance. This is a very solid trade. Nothing wrong here. Sometimes you will lose. It does not matter if you do all day long analysis, have like 100 different confirmation, you are just gonna lose. It happens to everybody. Another interesting example here, Dogecoin. I really wonder where do they really find these coin names. I'm really curious about it. In early hours, a small ignition happens right around this price level, but not giving us a clear market structure shift. This will be quite hard to trade again. Later on, price rallies further and pulls back for extra fuel to our multi-level imbalance zone. This is where the structure shifts happening without a pullback one more time. So I need to talk about something right now. We just observed 8 top gainer coins today. All coins from today, this Saturday morning. With our strategy, 8 possible trades in one single day. As you noticed, some setups are very clear and works well. Some entry zones are clear but no clear entries, no descent or no pullbacks at all. And sometimes it just fails or it stops you out immediately. Then you may ask this, why this indicator and this momentum strategy? Because it is extremely quick and easy to spot tradable setups. Minimum amount of analysis required. Can you show me any other strategy out there that you can spot and find entries this quickly? I just do not think so. If you have completed the free trading course and feel like you improved your trading skills, but you need more, an extra, a boost, and you want to move to the next level in your trading life, my masterclass is ready for you. You will learn liquidity, inefficiencies, and structure mastery deeply. We will look at forward and reverse trading with momentum super boxes. You will learn how to confirm your entries with magic alignment system. Finally, you will discover a strategy called YOYO Strategy, which will open new doors for you about taking and managing trades. If you are interested, you